The morning sun filtered through the chrome-tinted windows of Stellar Diner, casting geometric shadows across the polished floors. In the farthest corner booth, a figure sat hunched over a steaming cup of synthetic coffee, his hood pulled low despite the warmth of the establishment. Evan Draconis was tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep could fix, but the bone-deep exhaustion that came from centuries of pretending. His true form, a magnificent Dracarian from the Pyros Nebula, remained hidden beneath layers of holographic disguise. To any observer, he appeared as an ordinary human male, unremarkable in every way. That was precisely the point. Back home, Evan was royalty. The Dracarian Empire stretched across 17 star systems, and his family's vault contained enough crystallized starfire to power a dozen civilizations. But wealth, he had learned, was a prison of expectations. Every meal was a political negotiation. Every conversation was calculated. Every smile was a transaction. So he had fled to Earth, the curious little planet where humans, those fascinating, short-lived creatures, had somehow managed to achieve interstellar status despite their physical limitations. Here, disguised and anonymous, he could simply exist. More coffee, hun? Evan looked up to find Hannah standing beside his booth, coffee pot in hand. She was the morning shift waitress, probably in her mid-20s, with tired eyes that somehow still sparkled with genuine warmth. Her name tag was slightly crooked, and there was a coffee stain on her apron that she hadn't noticed. "Please," Evan replied, pushing his cup forward. Hannah poured carefully, her movements practiced and efficient. "You've been coming here every morning for 2 weeks now. Same booth, same order. You hiding from someone or just really love our questionable pancakes?" Despite himself, Evan smiled. Humans had this disarming directness that his kind had lost millennia ago. "The pancakes are adequate." "High praise," Hannah laughed. "I'll let the cook know his life's work has been deemed adequate." She moved to leave, but paused, studying him with an intensity that made Evan's scales prickle beneath his disguise. Humans weren't supposed to be able to sense Dracarian presence, but something in her gaze felt penetrating. "You know," Hannah said quietly, "whatever you're running from, it's probably not as scary as you think. And whatever you're missing, well, maybe it's missing you too." Before Evan could respond, she walked away, leaving him staring at his coffee in confusion. How could she possibly know? Over the following days, Evan found himself engaging with Hannah more. She had this way of drawing out conversation without being pushy. He learned she was studying xenobiology at the local university, working 3 jobs to pay tuition. She wanted to work on one of the embassy stations, helping facilitate human-alien relations. "Most species think we're weak," Hannah told him one morning, wiping down the counter. "Too fragile, too short-lived. But you know what humans have that most aliens don't?" "What?" Evan asked, genuinely curious. "We know we're going to die. We've always known. Every human who's ever lived has had to face that reality. So we don't waste time on the bullshit. We don't have centuries to hold grudges or postpone dreams. We live now because now is all we're guaranteed." Her words struck something deep in Evan's chest. In all his centuries of existence, he had never truly considered what it meant that humans measured their lives in decades rather than millennia. They burned so bright because they knew the darkness was coming. It was on a rainy Thursday morning that everything changed. Evan arrived at his usual time to find the diner nearly empty. Hannah brought his coffee and pancakes without being asked. But this time, she slipped a folded piece of paper beneath his plate. "Read it later," she said softly, then disappeared into the kitchen before he could question her. His hands trembled slightly as he unfolded the note after finishing his meal. The handwriting was hurried but clear. "Dear Dragon in Booth 7, I've known what you were since day 3. The way you hold your cup like it might shatter. The way your eyes track heat signatures instead of movement. The slight shimmer when you're stressed. I wrote my thesis on Dracarian behavioral patterns, but here's the thing, I didn't care. I still don't. You came here to be nobody, and that's beautiful. But watching you sit alone every morning carrying whatever weight you're carrying breaks my heart. Being nobody is freedom, but being somebody to someone, that's living. You don't owe your family everything. You don't owe your empire your happiness. You're allowed to want more than duty. You're allowed to want connection. Humans have a saying, home is where the heart is. Maybe your heart doesn't belong in a palace across the stars. Maybe it belongs in a booth in a rundown diner eating adequate pancakes. You're not running away from something. You're running toward yourself. Whatever you decide, know that you've been seen. Really seen. And you're magnificent. Scales or no scales. Your friend, Hannah P.S. If you ever want to show me your real face, booth 7 will be waiting. No judgment, just coffee and conversation. Evan read the note 3 times, then a 4th. Tears, actual tears, blurred his vision. When had he last cried? Century? 2 centuries? He looked up to find Hannah watching from behind the counter, nervously chewing her lip. In that moment, Evan made a decision. The holographic disguise flickered, then fell away. Emerald and gold scales rippled across his skin, catching the diner's fluorescent lights like liquid fire. His eyes shifted to their natural amber, pupils expanding to vertical slits. Small, elegant horns emerged from his temples, and his true height added nearly a foot to his frame. The few other patrons gasped. One dropped their fork, but Hannah just smiled. That same warm, genuine smile, and poured 2 cups of coffee. She walked over to booth 7 and slid into the seat across from him. So, she said, pushing 1 cup toward him, tell me about home. The real stuff, not the political nonsense. What do dragons dream about? And for the first time in centuries, Evan talked. Really talked. About the weight of crowns and the coldness of gold. About loneliness and duty. About flying through nebulas and the silence of space. Hannah listened, asked questions, laughed at his stories, and shared her own dreams of stars and undiscovered worlds. As dawn shifted to mid-morning, Evan realized something profound. He had spent centuries surrounded by his own kind, but had never felt less alone than he did now, sitting across from a human waitress in a rundown Earth diner. Home wasn't a place or a planet. It wasn't a palace or an empire. Home was being seen, truly seen and accepted anyway. Same time tomorrow? Hannah asked as her shift ended. Evan nodded, scales shimmering with contentment. Same time tomorrow. And for once he wasn't running from anything, he was running toward everything that mattered. The end.